Hamstrings and back today. We're going to start on our backs on the chair. So just feet up onto it. We're going to do the bridge actually. So this time we're going to have quite bent knees. Normally we do this with straight legs. So we're going to go bent legs. You're going to put your feet up or your heels up. You might want a cushion or something on that. We're going to squeeze the butt and then we're just going to push up towards the ceiling into that bridge. So you might want your heels on the edge. I don't know, find a comfortable position depending on whether or not you have a cushion. Make sure you're on the heels rather than on the toes. Whoops, I thought that might happen actually. I thought I might slide. You want to be on the heels because if you're on the toes, if you're pushing down on the toes, you've got calves very involved in that action. And then they will take over some of the work of the hamstrings, so you don't want that happening. So we're just doing a warm-up set just to kind of get the hamstrings activated. I'm going to do 2 more. And remember, you're not tilting the pelvis, so we're not doing a curl up. We're just squeezing the butt and pushing off the feet to bring that whole unit, that whole upper body up. Okay, we're going to go onto the tummy to do prone cobra. So bring yourselves down the mat according to the space you have. I'm going to work with my hands slightly above shoulder height. Most people will be more comfortable down here because they tend to be quite tight in the neck. Once you've got the technique of this, you can work slightly higher. All right, so you're going to slide the shoulder blades gently down the back, very, very subtle movement. You're going to slide and lift the arms away so that they're being pulled almost to the corners of the room by the pinky finger. So you've got your thumbs on top. You're pushing your sternum forward into the mat so that you're flattening the wing bones against the back and then come down. I don't have a whole lot of room here, so I'm going to work with my arms slightly further down. Okay, gently slide the shoulder blades, slide and lift the arms away from the sides, keeping that sternum pushed forward. Relax the neck and come down. And again, slide the shoulder blades down, very subtle. Slide and lift the arms away, thumbs on top. If you want to challenge this a little bit more, you can lift the arms a tiny bit higher than you normally would and come down. And again, gently slide, slide and lift, keep out of the neck. Push the sternum forward, flatten the wing bones back against the back. So the base of the wing bone is down, come down. And again, slide the shoulder blades down, slide and lift away. Push the sternum forward, relax the neck completely. The neck should be soft. There shouldn't be any action in there. You should be feeling this now below the shoulder blades. Okay? Should be quite an intense feeling. Shoulder blades sliding down the back. Slide and lift the arms away, thumbs on top. You should be feeling all of this in the middle back. So just below the shoulder blades. And come down. And again, gently slide, slide and lift. I don't know how many we're on. I'm going to do 2 more after this, because I think this is about 6. And down. And again, slide the shoulder blades down, slide and lift the arms away. Hold, keep the sternum pushed forward. And come down. One last time, slide the shoulder blades down, slide and lift the arms away, hold, and come down. It's such a subtle exercise, so it always looks like there's nothing going on, but actually there's a lot going on. I'm going to turn my chair because I think it's going to slide otherwise, and I'm going to turn myself slightly so I'm off my mat, but it'll be easier for me because then I won't slide away. The chair won't slide away. Okay, so just coming up into that bridge. Remember, we're squeezing the butt. So we've got it switched on. We're not tilting or curving the pelvis up. We're just heading up and down. And we're aiming for height. For those of you with very powerful muscles, hamstring muscles, you might feel like this isn't doing very much for you. And in that case, on the next set, not necessarily now, But on the next set, you could take one leg off and you could go with one leg. So you want to keep the one leg. Oh, I'm going to do the other side just so I'm evened out. You're going to keep the knees almost together. Excuse me. As you go. But that's an alternate. Okay, that's a harder way to go. You could also bring the arms to a half position here, which makes it a little bit harder. Or you could take it into the full position and come up, which is even harder because then you're working harder with the legs to stabilize the body. The minute the hands are down, you're creating stability just by the arms being down. So there's lots of ways to target those hamstrings. Oh, I'm going to do one more. Okay. There's always nail me. All right, so let's go onto the tummy again for your prone cobra. You start up. I'm going to tie this here up. Okay, let's move. Actually, I'll move that here. Okay, so onto the tummy. Down on, make sure your nose is down and your forehead is down. All right, so we're going to slide the shoulder blades down, slide and lift them away. Hands up, take them as high as you can, comfortably, well, uncomfortably, comfortably, and come down. It's part of your challenge. And again, slide the shoulder blades down, slide and lift the arms away, hold, and come down. And again, slide down, slide and lift, hold, keep pushing that sternum forward. Excuse me. And come down. And again, slide the shoulder blades down, slide and lift away. Make sure the neck is relaxed. And down. Again, slide down, slide and lift away. Push that sternum forward. Hold it. And down. And again, slide down gently and subtly. Slide and lift away, thumbs on top. Make sure the arms are rotated. Feel that below the shoulder blades. Relax the neck and come down. And again, slide, slide and lift. I don't know how many I'm on. This is my second last one I'm going to do, I think. You can always do more or less depending on how you're feeling. And again, slide down, slide and lift away. Push the sternum forward, flatten the shoulder blade against the back of the rib cage, relax the neck, and come down. Okay, we're going into our third set of the bridge. So I'm going to come over here. So remember, you can have the arms, you can have them straight up, you can have them bent half on the floor. You can go one leg if you want to, in which case the knees should be pretty much next to each other. Okay. I'm going to just do one or two of these because my hamstrings really feel it. So you're going to just do what you can. Remember, we're going to failure. Whatever it takes for you to get to failure. I'm going to do one more of these so I match myself evenly both sides. And I'm also sliding. That's my problem here. So aiming for height, pushing off those heels and try and stay on the inside of the heels. I'm going to do two more. One more. This is our last one of these. Oh, okay. And then back onto your tummy for that prone cobra again. So you get going. I just got to get this hair up. Okay, so on your tummy, Forward facing down, make sure your nose is down on the ground as well. And then you're going to slide the shoulder blades down the back. Slide and lift the arms away. Push that sternum forward into the ground. Slide the shoulder blades down the back so that they're also flattened against the rib cage and come down. And again, slide the shoulder blades gently, subtly. Then slide and lift. Remember that first movement is really, really subtle. It's a very non-aggressive movement, and the biggest mistake in this exercise I have found is that clients are too aggressive with it and come down. So try that. It's a very subtle slide. It's probably about an inch in movement. Okay, so it's just a subtle slide. It's not pulling the shoulder blades together. It's literally just sliding them down towards your butt. Then it's sliding and lifting the arms away. So you've got a wide back here. It's very wide. Someone's pulling your fingers towards the corners of the room or the sides of the room, pushing that sternum forward and come down. And again, gently, subtly slide, slide and lift. Keep those thumbs on top. Push the sternum forward, flatten the shoulder blades, relax the neck, and come down. I think we've got 3 more. Slide the shoulder blades down, slide and lift the arms away. Feel that middle back working. Push that sternum forward. Hold it there. And come down. And again, slide the shoulder blades down, slide and lift away. Hold it there. And come down. And again, slide, slide and lift. Push that sternum forward, relax the neck. And come down. I think this is our last one. Slide the shoulder blades down, slide and lift away. And just to remind you, I'm a useless counter because I'm busy talking at the same time. So I'll often get it wrong, but I'm relying on you to count your own reps and also know when you hit failure. Relax the neck and come down. Okay, so we're going to come up. You've got your books, which you're going to bring onto your mat to do the one-leg deadlift. Okay, so and I'm going to remind you that we're just doing it on the books because it offers a completely different feeling to the exercise. Now, if you're a beginner, you don't have to do it on the books. You can actually just do it on the floor. Okay, so you can just stand and do the same exercise like so. Just I'll go through it. This is a more advanced version, and what it does is it messes a little with the body's placing in space. Okay, so because it's raised, it now puts another element of balance into the exercise that is not quite the same when you're just on the floor. So if you need to use you can always have a chair near you and just have a finger on it, but you want very light help with that. Okay, so we're softening the underneath knee. We're going to squeeze the butt just to rotate this quadricep slightly. So instead of that happening, I've got that happening. So my knee is opening up. I'm rotating this outward, so this is switched on, and then I'm tracking the middle of that kneecap over the second toe. So I'm never going to allow that to happen. Okay, I've got this working. Let's open this up, and that's important, okay, because that means then my glutes are switching on. And then I'm coming into my one-leg deadlift. You should be able to see me, so your chest should be up. You never drop your chest in a one-leg deadlift, okay? And it only goes down as high as the leg goes up. So if you've got very short hamstrings and you're only managing to get to here, then you certainly aren't dropping that chest. If I've got super long hamstrings, which I do, I can still look up. So I've still got my back extensors switched on. I'm making my whole back line working, the whole back line. So my calves are working hard to stabilize me. My hamstrings are switched on because this is primarily a hamstring exercise. My glutes are switched on because I've got my leg in the right position and my knee is tracking, so it's immediately switching on my glutes. I've got my back extensors switched on because my chest is raised as I take my leg up. I'm still able to look up, which means I'm keeping my back muscles working. So that's the whole back line, and that's what you're looking for. You want as many muscles involved as possible in a given movement, because that makes the whole workout more efficient. And that's how we can do half an hour at a time and actually get a really, really, really good workout. It's because we are utilizing exercises that ensure that you've got multiple things happening at once. And that's ideal. Oh, I think this is my last one. This is, that's my weakest side. So of course you always want to start with your weakest side because that's going to lead your numbers. Not that I know how many I did, but that's the general idea. I'm, as I say, counting on you to keep the track of that. Okay, so we're going to squeeze the butt, open up this quadricep and the kneecap, so it's over that second toe. We've got the belly button pulled gently to the spine, so this is constantly switched on, non-aggressively, okay? It's a gentle contraction. The hips are square, so you always want to make sure that if you had headlights on the hips, they would both be facing the same way. My toes are pointing down. My back is still up, so I'm still able to look at the camera. And again, I don't know how many I've done, so I'm going to do one more. Because this is my strongest side, it doesn't tend to feel it the way the other side does. So don't rush to finish if you're still busy. All right, so we're going to take those books off when you've finished and get you into back extensions. So onto your tummy once again. Okay, so we've got a couple of versions of this for my more. So all of you are going to open up your feet to the corners of the mat. My more basic level would be keeping the feet down and then just lifting the chest up and off. If you feel that you can manage it, you can take them up, extend the arms, come back and come down. Okay, so that's a version of that. Then if you're doing the advanced version, it's legs up and the hands up. I would go hands forward. So you've got a little bit more weight in the torso and come down. So you're just extending as you lift, bringing that chest off and come down. And this is all backline stuff again. So for sure, because you're pointing your toes, your calves are switched on. Because you're lifting your legs back behind the hips, your hamstrings are switched on. Because you're turning your legs out and extending them behind the hips, the glutes are switched on. And because you're bringing your chest off the floor and taking your head behind your hips, your back extensors are switched on. So there's nothing here that isn't related to that back line, which is super. It's exactly what we want. We're doing back and hamstrings today. Whew. And another maybe 2 or 3. That's up to you. I'm going to do 2 more. And come down. This is a very useful exercise for those of you who are in a, what we call an posterior pelvic tilt. So if you, okay, come on. If you have a tendency, you can relax the back a little if you want to. If you have a tendency to stand hanging off your hips in this position, if you're comfortable in that position, as opposed to those of us who are more arched in the back with our butt stuck out in a more rounded arched through the lower back. If your tendency is that, then this is a very good exercise for you. For those who naturally are in that position, like me, we don't tend to need to do the back extension work. I'm doing it because obviously my clients need to do it. So it depends very much on your posture as to what exercises you really need and what exercises you don't need, because you don't necessarily want to be doing all exercise. You want to be creating balance in the body. So, okay, soften the knee, Rotate that quadricep out by squeezing the butt. Make sure the hips are square. So remember, the most efficient body is a balanced body. So there's no good training, and this is the thing about people, is they tend to train the things that they're good at doing because they like those exercises and they like those body parts. But that's a real mistake, because all you're doing is exacerbating an imbalance. Okay, so what we should be doing is training the weaknesses so that they catch up with the strengths, and then in that way we're more balanced. So people often say to me, oh, how flexible should my hamstrings be? Or how flexible should my hips be? Or how strong, or whatever. And I mean, it depends entirely on what the opposite muscle is in your body. So in other words, if you've got very tight hamstrings, so if you've got very tight quadriceps, then you don't want long hamstrings. You probably want shorter hamstrings, and at the same time you want to stretch out your quadriceps so that the front of the thigh is a little bit looser than it typically currently is, and that the back line is slightly stronger than it maybe currently is, so that you create a little bit more of a balance in that sense. There's no point in having ultra long hamstrings and tight quadriceps, because then it's constantly pulling your pelvis into a certain position. So it doesn't really matter what the person next to you can do. I'm going to come off here. Whew. So, and maybe the analogy is this. Everyone says, oh, I can't touch my toes, or I can't touch the floor. And I think, well, why would you want to? That's very long hamstrings. Now, I've got very long hamstrings, but I've also got very tight quadriceps and hip flexors, which is not ideal. So I don't really want long hamstrings. I'd rather have slightly tighter, stronger hamstrings. That's why I struggle with hamstring exercises. They've gotten much more powerful than they were, but they're still, to a degree, because of my hip position, there's some imbalance. Not to the extent it causes me injury or pain or anything, but I'm aware of it. So you don't want excessive length or excessive strength. You want balance. And if that means that you tight both front and back of the body, or long on the front and the back of the body, that's better than trying to achieve someone else's idea of what your hamstring length or your quadricep length should be. You want personal balance. I hope that makes sense. That's more important than anything else, because it's, as I say, it's where you're going to be most efficient, but it's also where you're going to be without injury. Okay, haven't been counting, of course. I do like yakking while I'm teaching. I'm going to do one more of these. I have no idea. Let me do two more, because I probably did a little more on the other side. I'm going to do one more now. Okay, and then we're going to come off. And then back to the back extension. So, down, find your position, feet to the corners of the mat, and then whichever version you're doing, you go for it. Remember, this is a whole backline action. Might help to exhale as you come up. See if that kind of makes sense to you and naturally works. And you want to get as much height as you can, whether just with the chest or with the chest and the legs. Obviously, the higher up you get, the more you're going to work those extensors or the back line. And I'm going to do one more. And then you can come into child pose. Actually, it's quite a nice stretch for that lower back. And this is specifically going to work your lower back. So never be afraid to work the muscles in the lower back. They need to be worked. I think people get a little bit scared of, getting into the lower back. The lower back's not naturally a problem area. You just need to keep it strong. Okay, grab those books again. So start on the weaker side. Just bend the knee, or soften it at least. Squeeze the butt, open it out. And then we go. Belly button, pull gently to the spine. Hips are square, so remember if you have headlights on them, they'd be facing the same way. Whoops. Make sure you keep the big toe down. Keep the toes pointing down as well. Keep thinking about that belly button so you've got it switched on. And then I'm going to do one more. No, I'm not. I'm going to do two more. Oh, I'm going to push it a bit. Okay. One more. And aim for, the other thing you can do to challenge it is aim for height. Because pushing height also just keeps you there a little bit longer. And also it makes that hamstring work harder. So remember, this is the working leg. So squeeze it, rotate that quadricep, make sure the middle of the kneecap's over the toe. That belly button you want pulled in. And then aim for height. Aim to take it as high as you can. You'll feel it stick. And that's fine. You hold it there a few seconds or a couple of seconds. Keep the hips square. Point the toes down. And that's all nailing that back line. Keep the belly button pulled in, so you're thinking about that all the time. The chest is up. Aim for that height. I think I'm going to do two more here. Oh, one more. Okay, and then come down. We're going to go back into our third set of the back extension. Okay. So, feet to the corners. And this is quite tiring after, we're doing this straight after the you'll feel it in the back. Of course, you feel the one leg deadlift in the back as well. So we've got quite a lot going on for the back extensors at the moment. But we're just doing 3 sets. This is our last set of this one. And then we'll finish off with one more set of the one leg deadlift. Remember, you can do this with the feet on the floor if you want to. And the longer you stay up, the higher you stay up, the better for you. I'm going to do 2 or 3 more. And I'm going to do one more. And then come back. Okay, just relax that back and lower back. Okay, and then into our last set of the one leg deadlift with the books, or without, if you're doing it without, it's fine. And if you're getting very tired, remember, if you start to feel it in your lower back too much, it'll be just because you're not keeping the belly button pulled in. So, soft knee, rotate, get the butt switched on, belly button pull to the spine. So that's how you're going to keep that lower back out of excessive arching, is by keeping the belly button pulled in. Keep the big toe down. Whoops. Remember, hips are facing front. My toes are pointing down. And I'm thinking about my belly button. I'm aiming for as much height as I can. I'm going to try for 2 more. Belly button still pulled. So I'm not feeling this in my lower back. I'm feeling it in my hamstrings, and I'm feeling it in my glutes, the outside of my glutes. So just here, which is your stabilizing set. You've got 2 muscles. Mostly it's what we call gluteus medius, which is the middle one that tends to stabilize. Okay, so squeeze, soft knee, hip square. Make sure you get some height, belly button pull to the spine. Belly button pulled in, don't let go. Just remind yourself of it every now and then. Keep those hips square. I'm going to do 3 more. Toes are pointing down. You want quality of the movement, really, really smooth, really controlled. I'm going to do 1 more. Okay, and then shake that out. And then drop yourself down, put the hands into the elbows and just hang. Hold it here. Try and relax, take 3 breaths. Try and create as much weight through that upper body as possible so that you unstack the spine nicely. It should feel like a nice relieving hang. I'm going to do 1 more. And then I'm going to drop and come up slowly. And that's your Wednesday workout. Thank you for joining me.